Today on News 13 Now, avoiding being a victim. We'll give you a rundown of the top scams of 2016, plus your holiday trash might be making you a target.
An unusual approach to...
This is News 13 Now, coverage you can count on.
Thanks for joining us for News 13 Now. I'm Erica Edwards.
And I am Brandon Herring. We start this morning with the top stories happening today. First, convicted Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof will face a judge this morning. A jury found Roof guilty of the June 2015 murders of 9 people at Emmanuel AME Church. The sentencing phase of his trial will begin January 3rd. He'll get either the death penalty or life in prison. Roof plans to represent himself during the sentencing phase. He also still faces trial on state murder charges in the shootings.
Also happening today is May 1st.
In Horry County, family and friends are mourning the loss of Kiahi Mendoza. He was a Socastee High School student and drowned in the ocean while surfing in Surfside Beach on Monday. His friends set up this memorial at Socastee High. Those closest to him say he was a great friend who would do anything for anyone. He was best known for his love of running. His cross-country coach says Mendoza holds Socastee High School records and had just signed to run for Anderson College. A memorial for Kiahi Mendoza will be this Friday night at 7 at the Surfside Beach Pier. Everyone is invited to attend. We now know the name of an 11-year-old girl who died in what authorities call a hunting accident in Georgetown County. The Georgetown County Coroner's Office says Anna Grace Cook died Monday from a gunshot wound at the Mount Pleasant Plantation Hunting Club northeast of Andrews. DNR continues to investigate the shooting, but did say the girl was the only person involved.
Trash day. Don't leave it out there.
Right, like those people did.
I know, or maybe you got a TV or something.
Wait till trash day.
Just exactly, and put her out right before, till they come down the road, chase them down.
That would be me chasing.
That's what
them
you would
down.
do, yeah. James Hopkins.
I would always miss
Good
that.
Hard to complain when we should be in the mid-50s.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Hurricanes, fires, and floods. 2016 was another year of some devastating weather events.
Mary Maloney has a look at the year in weather.
Reporting.
Some video from our area.
Yeah.
In that story.
Kind of tough to see when you see everything put together.
Yeah,
back
because
to back.
we know people still recovering from some of those floods.
Absolutely. Well, still ahead on News 13 now, the day's top health stories, including new research suggesting fewer patients should stay in the ICU.
Plus, for those thinking about New Year's resolutions, we'll tell you a different kind of approach that could just make sure you keep them this year.
I'm Sarah Gannum.
Cold and flu season is here, and 100 people have already been hospitalized for the flu in South Carolina. 21 of those in the past week alone. Doctors say you can prevent the flu by staying hydrated, eating healthfully, staying away from people who are sick, and washing your hands. Also, it's important to know the difference between the cold and the flu, and if you think you had the flu, get to the doctor early for antiviral medication. Insurers have hiked premiums for Obamacare plans an average of 25% for 2017, but a new S&P Global rating analysis is calling the move a one-time pricing correction. The analysis said insurers have started closing the large losses that prompted the hikes, and S&P expects rate requests for 2018 will be well below this year's level. And when it comes to healthcare spending in the U.S., diabetes, heart disease, and back pain top the list. New research published in JAMA looked at 155 conditions. Diabetes was the most expensive condition with $101 billion in diagnosis and treatments.
A new study full of care.
Several million people in the U.S. suffer from a movement disorder known as essential tremor. It's not life-threatening, but the constant shaking can significantly affect quality of life. As Molly Hall reports, an innovative new treatment is giving them a steady hand.
New York.
And doctors say the new procedure could potentially be applied to other neurological disorders, including epilepsy.
Up next on...
Welcome back. When it comes to health news of 2016, the Zika virus dominated.
The U.S. didn't see uncontrolled widespread infections like in South and Central America, but there were isolated outbreaks involving around 200 people.
Kenneth Gregg takes a look back at the year in health. We've been looking back at the top headlines of 2016 all week, so tomorrow we'll continue our series with the major business headlines of the year.
Still ahead on News 13 now.
From WBTW, Erica Edwards, Brandon Herring, and meteorologist Kara James. This is number 1 News 13 Now.
Welcome back to News 13 Now, coming up on 9:28 this morning. I'm Brandon Herring.
I'm Erica Edwards. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. It is Wednesday, hump day. You're watching News 13 Now.
It's maybe...
Hump day? Is it not?
Yeah, totally
Whew.
is. Yeah. It's
Panicked
like,
for a second.
It's like Friday Eve's Eve.
Yes.
We're already,
I like the way you think.
Already looking to the weekend. We're going to go ahead and take a look outside right this moment.
And I wish we
And that
didn't.
is not making me feel good
No,
about
not
the
at all.
weekend. But
Not at
maybe
all.
it'll be better.
James Hopkins, will it look?
Back to you.
We have an update now to concerns about high power bills in Lumberton. We heard from families who say they got big charges for the time when they weren't home and their power was out after Hurricane Matthew. The city's director of public services tells us those questionable bills may have come because the city had to create the bills with a different method after the storm. 3 of the 7 trucks the city uses to record meter readings were flooded during the storm, so the city reduced all bills in the affected areas of South and West Lumberton by 25%. That's about 2,200 accounts, all adjusted by hand.
So there could be that.
She added customers often don't realize a flat utility rate is charged monthly to each account, regardless of if it is used or not. That could explain why customers were charged even when they were displaced after the storm.
Marlboro.
A woman remains on life support and in critical condition after she was hit by a bullet at an Anderson shooting range. Officials say she was visiting family in the upstate for Christmas and went out to the shooting range. The Anderson County coroner says the bullet hit the woman's eye and lodged in her brain. Deputies are still looking into how that shooting happened. Meanwhile, holiday gun sales are at an all-time high. One owner of a shooting range in Greenville says they've been booked solid since Christmas and says new gun owners need to always treat their gun as if it were loaded and never point it at anything you don't intend to shoot. He also says it's important to be aware of what's around your targets. According to the FBI's National Instant Criminal Background Check System, this past Black Friday recorded the highest requests for firearm background checks ever. A mother and daughter are reunited this Christmas season, and it comes years after a Phoenix woman made one of the most difficult decisions of her life. Raquel Cervantes has their story.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, to think, you hear about families being reunited after an adoption, but for her to have managed past that obstacle of having the records lost,
Yeah.
that's pretty neat.
Oh, I love that happy ending. Well, our must-see video is coming up next.
Yeah, you may have seen a coral reef before, but chances are you've never seen an underwater world like this one. We'll tell you where this colorful life is hiding next. It is time for the must-see video of the day, and we begin this morning in a place I bet you have never been, Antarctica. And how about this for something you've probably never seen? Australian scientists shot this rare underwater footage of the hidden habitat under layers of thick Antarctic ice. Wait for it here. Wait for it right there. You are seeing colorful sea spiders, sponges, and sea cucumbers. According to a biologist there, the water is 31 degrees Fahrenheit and is covered in nearly 5 feet of ice for 10 months out of the year. Pretty colorful though, right? And from Australian scientists in Antarctica to actually Australia, where this seal got a little too comfortable visiting Tasmania. It sat on several parked cars, causing thousands of dollars in damage. After catching the seal, workers did plan to give it a medical checkup and release it back into the wild. Topping Consumer Watch this morning, 7 states, including North Carolina, will get higher taxes on their gas when the new year begins. The others are Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nebraska, Indiana, and Florida. The additional tax is part of state efforts to balance budgets for road construction and maintenance. State transportation officials say that they are having to deal with lower income from taxes and more fuel-efficient cars. Moving on to our next story, in South Carolina, the General Assembly is preparing to discuss a proposal to raise our state's gas tax. Right now, the tax you pay for every gallon of gas in South Carolina is 16 cents. Lawmakers are considering whether to raise that another 12 cents per gallon. A hike would mean millions and millions of dollars directed to upgrading our roads and bridges. If implemented, the tax would increase 4 cents per year for 3 years in a row. It's not just taxes on gas that are going up. home prices are on the rise. New data released yesterday shows prices across the country increased 5.6% from 12 months earlier. That puts prices at their highest levels since the financial crisis. Some of the biggest price jumps were in Seattle, Portland, and Denver. It still costs more to make a penny than it actually is worth. A spokesman for the U.S. Mint says it cost 1.5 cents, that's 1.5 cents to make a penny in 2016. That's the first time costs have been up since 2011. The Mint says there's no metal alternative to cut the cost below face value. Same goes for a nickel, which costs 8 cents to produce, but dimes cost just under 4 cents a piece to produce.
But rain comes in to start next week. Upper 60s Monday.
That's so good, though.
Yep, very
Thanks,
good.
James. Thanks for joining us for News 13 Now.